Today, we are going to talk about gaming's favorite pastime, teabagging. I've titled this video, The Philosophy of Teabagging, because we are going to do a deep dive into the fundamental truths of this natural occurring phenomenon. The hows, the whys, the whats, the whens, and hopefully, by the end of this video, you will be well informed about all things teabagging and have the confidence to speak on the topic for the rest of your bright, flourishing gaming career. But before we get into the weeds, you can call me Miss Frizzle, because we're about to cruise down Main Street on the Magic School Bus and take a look at the history of one of gaming's most infamous and degenerate practices. Welcome to The Philosophy of Teabagging.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip. With a friend? No way!
Oh my god, body's right by you, John. Oh my god.
Surfing on the sound wave, swinging through the stars. Take a left at Cuban Captain. Take your satellite back on the magic school bus. Navigator nostril. Climb on the magic school bus. Make a plane turn to. On our magic school bus. Drop the river of lava. On the magic school bus. Such a fine thing to do. So step your face right to the sea. Come on,
I'm just
it's a wild ride. Come on, ride on the magic school bus.
If you've been living under a rock for the last 20 years, allow me to give you a working definition of teabagging that will guide our time together today. Teabagging is the act of positioning your body over an opponent's dead body and crouching repeatedly with the goal of insulting, humiliating, or tilting your opponent. To this day, the origins of teabagging are a mystery. According to Guinness Book of World Records, MIDI Maze from 1987 for the Atari ST was the first ever example of a networked multiplayer first-person shooter. It used MIDI ports to enable multiplayer action, and by connecting one of the computer's MIDI out to the next MIDI in, it was possible to create a 16-player machine-to-machine network, which was an effective basis for multiplayer gameplay. Players in the game were represented as smiley faces and could fire bullet-like dots to take down their fellow gamers. However, there were no corpses or kill cams, and crouch mechanics had yet to be invented. Over the next several years, the FPS genre would make some monumental leaps forward. From Wolfenstein 3D to Doom, next would come Bungie's Marathon, followed by Duke Nukem and the start of the historic franchise, Quake. Yet even amidst all the progress, almost all these shooters had one thing in common: no crouch. Until 1994, when Doug Church designed System Shock. Set in a bleak cyberpunk universe, System Shock was a first-person action-adventure game from Looking Glass Studios that challenged players to overcome the hazards of an immense, multi-level space station under the control of an artificial intelligence with aspirations of godhood. And it is in this game that we first see FPS players given the ability to crouch. As time went on, first-person shooters such as Unreal Tournament, GoldenEye, Quake 2 would implement crouch into their control schemes, and yet teabagging had not yet decided to reveal itself. With kill cams in Quake and Unreal only lasting half a second or so before respawn, there was never time for teabagging an opponent's body. Additionally, the games were so incredibly fast-paced that if you stopped moving for even a second, you would quickly get obliterated. While GoldenEye was much slower and methodical, when you died, your screen would be drenched in blood and fade to black, while your camera view would fall to the ground just like your character model, thus leaving no time to hold Z plus down C to bag an opponent. Some contend teabagging started around the days of Quake 2, as players would crouch up and down on an enemy corpse to celebrate winning or getting a kill. Still others say it began in 2000 with the release of the original Counter-Strike. In all my searching, I found no official record of the first teabag in video game history. But that's neither here nor there, because one thing we can all agree on is that when it comes to teabagging, Quake and Counter-Strike walked so that Halo could run. Quake and CS may have planted the seed, but Halo watered it, gave it sunlight, gave it fresh fertilizer, and a greenhouse to boot. Halo allowed teabagging to flourish and become all it could be. The release of Halo Combat Evolved revolutionized the teabagging industry forever. With extended kill cams and simple-to-use crouch mechanics, teabagging was now accessible to the everyday gamer. Also coupled with the fact that the CE crouch animation was pretty goofy, akin to something like a grown man hunched over a squatty potty, it was bound to take off. This degenerate physical act spread like wildfire through the Halo community and eventually the gaming community as a whole. In living rooms across America, innocent gamers were unconsentingly getting fragged and bagged at rapidly rising rates. In homes, bedrooms, college dorms with T1 connections, heck, even church youth group events, no one was safe. One beautiful reality that is often overlooked in the teabagging conversation is that its rise to fame was purely organic, one crouch at a time. Halo CE was released in 2001, which was 4 years before YouTube existed. The internet was still very much in its infant stages, smartphones didn't exist, Xbox Live didn't exist, almost no social media. Teabagging grew on its own terms, not relying on hype, going viral, or hands on the face, mouth wide open YouTube thumbnails. Teabagging organically took the gaming world by storm, making its appearance in video games all over the world. And not just first-person shooters, third-person shooters, action-adventure games, racing games, fighting games.
Flying in, oh, and beat it. Oh, you gonna teabag him back? You think you're gonna get away with teabagging me in the house?
And even side-scrollers. However, it wasn't all warm hugs and rainbows for teabagging. While it was a great source of joy for many baggers, it also came under great scrutiny from many in the gaming community. Primarily those who were trash at their respective games and were suffering from TB PTSD. In some cases, teabagging became so divisive that it was banned from tournament play altogether. Regardless of where you fall on the issue, if you're pro bag or not, no one can deny the incredible impact and influence it's had on gaming culture. Now here we sit, over 20 years later, basking in the glow of a rich bagging history, looking ahead to a bright future. We may not know where or how teabagging started, but its balls are now in our court, and it's on us to continue building upon the legacy and foundation built by those who have gone before. Now that we have some history and context, let's take a deeper look at the philosophy of teabagging, the ethics, integrity, and principles behind the practice. In preparing for this video, I thought, what better way to find out people's thoughts on teabagging than talking to gamers themselves? So I took to the streets to interview gamers about their feelings on this impure practice. I hopped into MCC social matchmaking, turned on all Halo games, all game modes, and tried to chat with as many gamers as I could.
Yo, who's got mics?
Turns out, finding people with mics proved to be difficult at first, but we eventually found some people.
Here's my question. What are your thoughts on the practice of teabagging?
I don't know. I don't teabag that often because I think it's kind of bad sometimes. Pretty disrespectful. But sometimes people earn disrespect.
What are your thoughts on teabagging?
I don't know, kind of cool. Yeah, I've been doing it like since, I don't know, I've stopped doing it since 2012, I don't know.
It doesn't matter if they're your best friends or your worst enemy. 100%.
When do you personally, bring the bag out, so to speak?
Not when the mood strikes, Could be all the time. Could save it for a special occasion. I'm down for whatever.
So you're kind of like chaotic evil when it comes to teabagging. You're just like, it's just gonna happen whenever.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
I don't really do it. I don't know. I think it's kind of like, it was funny back, 20 years ago, but I think the joke kind of lost its touch 15 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, because some people, they're still bagging strong 20 years later,
Yep.
So you're the person who teabags the best guy on the team once you get a lucky kill.
Uh-huh.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and then he tells his teammates, and then I just get teabagged all the time when I die.
Well, for me, I don't do it all that often. Mostly, it's just I do it at the end of a match or when, like, specifically if it's friends.
So you like to have the final bag, like at the end of the match. You know,
yeah. I will say honestly, like I try to be good about it because I feel like it does cause a stir in the game. People talk shit in the chat. Shit gets annoying.
I will do it if, for one, they're doing it to me. And second, sometimes I only teabag, not in a disrespectful way, but if it's like a game that they all quit out and they just need, you know, we're trying to encourage that guy to quit out, like I'm gonna teabag, I'm gonna put my virtual nuts in his face.
Yo, you guys, I almost never teabag unless I'm like super fucking angry. I'll like shoot your dead body and just go on my way.
Most of the time, it's really, for me, it's really still not. It's not out of the blue, really. There's gotta be like, there's usually a justifiable cause, but if there is, it's gonna be for the most of the game. Be doing it most of the game. That's what I'm saying.
But since we're all here and we're all doing this anyways, what are you guys' thoughts on Infinite?
Sucks.
Not like it. None of us play it.
Then I asked some streamers what their opinions were on the subject matter.
What's my opinion on it? It is what it is. It's essentially like disrespectful or emote in some way, and now games literally have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emotes, so.
I think teabagging is great. I think when you die, whatever they want to do with your corpse is okay. Because you got shit on. I think teabagging is an antithetical part of gaming. And is okay in my book. You got owned. You get teabagged. It doesn't matter who you are.
Teabagging. It's toxic, but I think sometimes it's necessary.
Personally, I don't mind teabagging. Like, if someone teabags me, I personally don't mind. It's part of Halo, isn't it? Yeah, I'm cool with teabag. You know, it's part of Halo. It's always been the thing, so...
What's your opinion on teabagging in Apex? I love it. I love some nut.
Teabagging? I don't know. I'm not for or against it.
I don't have anything against teabagging. We did a lot in Battlefield 3 and 4. It was a thing. When it came to Battlefield, we weren't on public servers. It was rivalry between locals. So teabagging was a cool thing then, because I think, you know, you all know one another and there's that rivalry. But there's no point in teabagging when you're on a public server. I don't do it in PUBG, it's too risky. I wouldn't just run to a body after shooting him. That's when teabagging matters, because the moment you kill that person, he has the, you know, point of view of you, and he can see your play. And you don't have much time, so you gotta run to that body straight away and do your teabagging. Yeah, it's not worth it. Not worth it, because you're risking your life, and he's probably gonna laugh at you if you're busy teabagging him, and then some other third-party player comes and pops you in the face.
I think it has its purpose. The first time I experienced it was Halo CE on Xbox Connect. We called it corpse humping, and that's what the Rooster Teeth guys called it. They called it corpse humping. There's such a fine line. I can't even tell you what the triggering variable is that makes it get under my skin sometimes, but sometimes it does, you know? Teabagging, part of what makes it so aggravating is that they're stopping the game to do this. I don't even worry. I can stop actually actively playing the game just to like annoy you right now. Probably write a whole paper about this.
I'm a tilted teabagger. I only teabag when we're losing. I'll kill someone and I'm obviously better than them, but we're still losing by a lot. It's literally only when I'm losing and only when I'm salty that I'll start teabagging.
While I was interviewing gamers, I came across one guy whose response perked my ears up.
What's your opinion on teabagging?
Well, the guy that created teabagging's in the other party.
Nah, you're lying.
I'll tell you that. Okay. I'll invite you.
This man claimed to be partied with the person who invented teabagging. So I had to find out for myself.
The guy who invented teabagging?
I started teabagging 25 years ago.
Yeah,
20 years ago.
The first.
Literally.
Wait, like, what do you mean? Like, how do you know you started it?
There's an article that came out from Microsoft when they were playing System Link. They were featured on Microsoft because they would have a whole house, 4 guys upstairs versus 4 guys downstairs.
And Haas B used to teabag a lot, and then they featured that in the article on Microsoft. Haas, do you still have that article? I can't.
No way. No way, really?
And they brought up the teabagging and all that stuff on there. Like, he used to do that. It was hilarious.
Dude, that's so crazy.
So we were playing 4-on-4. One time we were just messing around and we were playing against a guy who really sucks, okay? He killed me one time and I was so pissed. I just kept going to kill him, right? So when I killed him, I started pressing the button and I go, look guys, I'm shitting on him. And I used to call it shitting, but you know, it evolved into teabagging, I guess, right? I can't say I invented the teabagging. I used to call it like taking a shit on somebody. And then obviously the term changed.
Haas, remember we played against a guy that was unreal at snipers?
Yeah.
Francis Scott Key? That's him.
Yeah, we played against him 3-4 nights ago.
Yeah, that's me. I just changed my name.
After hearing a plethora of differing opinions, I think it's safe to say that everyone has contrasting beliefs on the issue. One key factor to consider are the principles of teabagging. When is it appropriate? When is it not? Is there a time and a place? Is there a common chain of reasoning that exists between gamers everywhere? Or are we just out here teabagging willy-nilly? I would like to briefly walk through some of the fundamentals of teabagging. The following instances are traditionally when teabag initiation is okay. 1. You get teabagged first for no reason, so you counterbag. 2. You accidentally kill a teammate, and with no disrespect, you teabag their corpse, while everyone has a good laugh. 3. When a game is down to the last few kills, and you teabag an enemy not out of disrespect, but to gain a psychological edge in the game's final moments. 4. You pull off an incredible feat, like a 360 no-scope or a squad wipe extermination. Again, this is more celebratory than disrespectful. And 5. A teammate gets teabagged, therefore you must avenge your friend by counterbagging. The following instances are traditionally when teabag initiation is not okay. 1. You kill someone who's obviously better than you. 2. You get a kill while wielding a clear advantage, i.e. rockets, or an overshield, or it's a 4v1 scenario. 3. You're destroying the other team. If you're so insecure that you have to teabag a team that's worse than you might need therapy. Handle your business and move on to the next match like an adult. 4. Someone's playstyle is tilting you. Just because you can't get an edge on an opponent, don't teabag. It's an obvious last-ditch effort Hail Mary that actually makes you look worse. And 5. When your teammate kills a player that you have a vendetta with, don't bag. Maybe you teabag on good principles, but that is not enough. In the movie No Country for Old Men, Javier Bardem plays a serial killer who operates purely on principle, even if it is at times against his will. Just because you operate out of principle does not make it ethical. So the question still remains, is teabagging ethical? Some say it's just a part of the game. Others say it has no place in gaming. Who decides what is ethical and what isn't? Take, for example, the counterbag. It is a pretty commonly held view that if your opponent teabags you first, then it is appropriate and in some cases vital that you teabag them back. I will admit, I find myself in this category. Only on the rarest of occasions do I ever initiate teabagging. But if an opponent starts it, you better believe I'm sure as hell gonna finish it. In fact, I'll take it a step further. If you bag me first, I turn into Bruce the Shark smelling blood in the water.
That's good.
I'm killing you and your whole team and smacking, bagging, and sticking every corpse along the way. However, if you allow my dead body to rest in peace on the war-torn battlefield, we will have a perfectly cordial match. Another facet worth considering is the nature of the act. There are a multitude of teabag variations, and all should be taken into account when debating its ethics. There's what I like to call the classic, a simple 2 down, 2 up. No more, no less. The bag and smack, repeatedly crouching while simultaneously smacking. The shooter, teabagging while shooting the corpse. The stick and run, teabagging and then throwing a plasma on the body while running away. The rapid strike, spamming crouch as fast as possible. The lag bag, sporadically teabagging with no sense of rhythm. The full Monty, combining all the above, teabagging while shooting, smacking, and sticking to cap it off. The double trouble, getting one other teammate to teabag a corpse with you. The MCGANG, getting 3 or more of your teammates to teabag one body at the same time. The touch and go, speed here is key. Perform a single bag on an opponent, then run away. And then of course there's the team touch and go, where you perform a single bag on an opponent, run away, while your teammate follows up quickly behind with a teabag on the same body. The full Monty meal deal. This one is exceptionally rare, but can be appropriate for only the most toxic of players. It is simply the full Monty, but with your entire team performing on a single body. The Japanese toilet. Inspired by toilets in Japan, you simply stay crouched over the corpse with no upward motion. This is often combined with spinning. The poke. It is similar to the Japanese toilet, except you look down at the corpse, forcing your weapon to poke their dead body. The final stand, or final bag, depending on what region you're from. Continuously teabagging an opponent's body long after the kill cam, and fighting off anyone who crosses your path while maintaining the bagging motion. If your original opponent comes back and finds you teabagging their previous body, and then you kill them again, you switch to their newer, more fresh corpse and continue your final stand. The kamikaze, sticking an opponent's dead body while bagging until detonation. In some cases, rockets or frags are appropriate to use as well. Believe it or not, there are plenty more variations we could go through, but you get the picture. Some techniques are more offensive than others, and one technique that may be off-putting to one player might bring great joy and laughter to another. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's game is another man's heart and soul. Therein lies the ethical dilemma. Is the human player one and the same with the digital character they are controlling in the game? As the lines between virtual reality and real reality continue to blur, we must decide what is in fact real. What makes a person a person? What is the essence of our humanity? What makes us who we are? And does a virtual corpse hump violate our offline personhood? Hold on tight, because we're about to go deeper. I believe that humans are made up of 3 things: spirit, soul, and body. A person's spirit is the non-physical part of them that exists when the body gives way. The soul is made up of your mind, will, and emotions. Lastly, the body is just that, your physical body, which is just as much a part of you as your spirit and soul. These 3 things combined make up who you are. You take one of them away and you cease to exist. Now, with this in mind, let's get back to the game. When you're in a match and you get bested by another player and they crouch repeatedly on your corpse, is that a violation of your offline humanity? I would say no. As tilting as it can be, I believe it does not transgress upon the spirit, soul, and body of a person. Teabagging, while oftentimes unsporting, frowned upon, and downright crass, is not unethical, because even though it does have the potential to violate the digital person, it does not violate the physical, spiritual nature of the human player being bagged. Now you might say, well, if someone teabags you in Halo, it's not a violation of your personhood because you don't feel it. But what if you're wearing a haptic suit and playing a shooter in VR, and upon death, your head-to-toe haptics begin going crazy when, to your horror, 4 members of the other team are crouching incessantly atop your dead body? You would feel that.
Can you feel this?
Yeah. So doesn't that violate your body? That is a valid question, to which I would answer, I don't know. These are the issues we will have to grapple with in the days ahead. My guess is we'll just have to let the courts decide. Until then, the choice lies with you and you alone. Will you hold to a noble conviction and abstain from crouching on a corpse? Or will you continue to teabag till the bitter end? To bag or not to bag? That is the question. Hey, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I know today's video was absolutely ridiculous, but I couldn't help myself. As always, drop your comments, opinions, hot takes below. I'm working really hard to reach 10K subs here on YouTube, so if you like this video, send it to some of your Halo buddies, your gaming friends, and of course, likes and stuff like that always helps. If If you have any other gaming or Halo topics you think I should cover, feel free to drop ideas below. Otherwise, you can keep up with me during the week. I'm on Twitch streaming all the time, on TikTok and Instagram. Much love, guys. Until next time.